finals via goal difference.
Yeah, and it just demonstrates just how tight this competition is. The top flight in Australia of men's ultimate, of open ultimate.
Juggernaut just about at the brick mark. Eriksson. Lots of space for the handlers. They've long shot, gone deep, looking for Luke Doyle. And he's reeled it in. It was a 3-on-1. It was a risky shot. But Eriksson backed in his receiver. He's put it to his advantage and landed just over the goal line. I need to get my bearings here. I thought that was close to the end, but not quite.
It was pretty deep. It was pretty deep.
But Juggernaut has shown their hand a bit. We've seen them like to work it among the handlers a lot before taking that shot in previous pool games, but they've gone early on that one. It'll force Sublime to defend the entire field rather than close in on the handler space. We see the Huck, they just give up the backhand, maybe a backhand force. It looked like a flattish mark to begin with.
And a nice grab. That disc was going at pace, so not an easy one. They've done well to keep their O clean for the time being. And yes, I mean, we speak about the brackets. Given that there are simultaneous games going on, you can't say with any kind of finality what's going to happen. What the teams can control is putting their utmost effort in to win. Yep. They don't want to be. There is a world where these two teams could go through, but like you say, you're in three-way ties. Your destiny is out of your hands.
That's it.
The way they avoid that, whoever wins will be confirmed third.
Yep. I think what's going to work well for both these teams is the other pool play games are well out of eye line. So they're not going to be looking over the next field going, what's happening here? Yeah. It's out of sight, out of mind. They get to focus on what's happening in the here and now. Aben. Loopy around throw to Alexa. Alexa looking for Bocce. Takes the inside shot straight to him. Bocce winds up. Deep looks well covered. Bocce, no real marking pressure to think of, so he's able to take his time, much more than the allotted 10 seconds. Wadrop gets up, keeps a foot in bounds. Still about 15 to travel to goal. Across to Diaz.
Diaz. Where you going, champ? He's going to keep bringing him back.
Alexa looking to the high side. Another wide throw to Wadrop.
Great break.
Double coverage there for Diaz. There's going to be a free player here somewhere, and there he is. Gaben Amon out the back for his second.
Hot start from both offenses, Simon. Love to see it.
Juggernaut did a better job of holding up the pace of Sublime's offense then. The first point was pretty much one and done. Save for when they got to the end zone and sort of dished it around a bit after the initial gains and after that foul call.
Yeah, shown patience both times in their red zone, which I like. I don't think we watched a game of theirs earlier today. Didn't see that as much, but it looks like it's something that they're really focusing on, particularly early in the game. Having a fast start and having your O hold in the first 3 points just so important, not only for the scoreboard, but also for your confidence and structure.
So Sublime on defense. I think it's Ben Carp and Kylo, Ben Bastion. Michael Vernon on the far right there. Zach Eicher. He's ready to sprint down. Carpenter puts that high, Loopy, not going to make the end zone. Luke Doyle having to
going after him,
get out of the way. They've isolated two cutters here, Juggernaut. Sublime come down with the zone. Look, we saw them do this early in another game. Wilson. Savannah down. Happy to hang on for a while. Keep a long look upfield at what's happening, surveying the scape.
With a fence that wide, I wouldn't mind seeing Juggernaut send a few poppers in here. You can throw it around, but you're not going to be able to throw it over the top. The space is inside that fence.
The travel called on the throw. The second row of the zone, it's pretty far back.
It's loose, yeah.
To really take care of those over the top shots. So, yeah, another fourth sort of cutter popper in there, like Trong might get involved, maybe Phillip even.
Yeah. So the width will be fine. Between Wilson, and Rowan. They're going to have handler width. I just wouldn't mind, and Trong obviously, I wouldn't mind seeing a few little pops in, because with the fence that loose, it's still going to be a 5 metre gainer, which isn't insignificant. Yep. There we go.
Good Zonos is chipping away at the distance rather than trying to go for 10, 20 metre gains every time.
Just do them slowly, in the words of Paul Keating.
Menzies flirting with the sideline. Henriksen. Wilson. Doyle getting involved. Sublime holding this zone, not looking to transition soon. They'll hold it probably to the goal line, so it's just going to be a game of patience here. The clock's certainly not working against either team here. Wilson, Menzies, covering some territory on both sides of the field. Doesn't put any spin on that throw, but it works.
Not sure how convincing that was.
Sivanandam. And
it's a bit hot. It was just a bit hot, a bit awkward.
Zach Archer just put a little pressure on the thrower there. Forced him to rethink it, Vernon. Wilson comes through with the run through D, gets it back. Trong sizes it up. Doesn't like the huck.
There should be a player, at least one player free, because Wilson's sacrificial cut drew 2.
We see Savannah bottom left is our free player at the moment. He's not quite in view at the moment. There he is now.
And well done from Sublime. They've readjusted back into that zone in transition.
Didn't take them long.
Nope.
Trong on the sideline. Over the top, Bastion on his heels. Trong urging a bit more forward movement.
Both Trong and Henriksen actually said it earlier in the point, like take the 3 yards.
Yeah.
Right now they're being a bit too conservative in their dump position, saying, hey, there is still yards you can take.
Wilson. They're the yards to gain every time. Just got to chip away at the distance like that. Wide shot to Phillip. Phillip. They've advanced probably halfway to goal now, but happy to lose some yards to spread the distance. We can see the two at the front, Bastion and Archer. They're starting to slow down a bit. They've been forced to do a few shuttle runs, so there's room to attack through the middle here now if Juggernaut can be smart about it. And there we go. Trong's found that space. Starting to get a bit more aggressive for these yardage gains. Wilson, Trong. Pinned on the sideline. Works backwards. Henriksen. The throws are really guiding traffic, urging cutters where they want to be rather than working with just what they've got. So,
yeah.
The second row started. The discipline from the second row here, they're staying out. Resisting theirs to close in as they've got less field to defend. Bastion. Just rebounds off Henriksen. Henriksen goes with the big hammer shot. Cross field. Savannah not in. They've held this zone. Wilson. Henriksen hanging on to it. And you can see Bennett Carpenter, that high side wing, he's starting to really bite on those swings now. So knows they're playing conservative, and so doesn't want them to get to the high side where Phillip's there waiting. But Phillip adjusts his position. Good, nice flat backhand from Wilson to open up that space.
Oh,
Wilson's, he's dished it up. His popper's turned away from him.
And there's a saying in zone, particularly popping, never turn your back on the disc. And that, unfortunately for Heads of State, is why. Bruce is amongst this point. He's ready to go.
Sublime are ready to attack there. Cutters are pointing, get it back to Kyle. While reset. So Kyle low now. Another close call there for Matt McKenzie. Kinsella fires it down the line to Bennett Carpenter. Carpenter lands in.
Nice grab.
Good body position, good awareness. Loopy throw over the shot, looking for Vernon.
Ooh, nice bid, big bid.
Yep, and an injury called.
Yeah, fair enough.
Has covered some real estate playing in that zone and then had to put in a 50-metre sprint.
Let's see if Juggernaut make a change as well.
Oh, he's gone down with the arm first. That's done well. Yeah, they have done the sub. Luke Doyle's coming off for Ash Evans coming on for Juggernaut. And I think it's Eli Wadrop coming on for Sublime. So it looks like he might take some room. The two front rowers, so Archer and Ben Bastian there is the front row of the zone. They've put in a shift, but they're giving each other a dap. They're going to go again, Andrew.
Yeah, I think that's the right play. I mean, you always think, who's less comfortable, the O or the D? And I'd say on balance right now, not just because of the turn. I'd be, even if Juggernaut had scored that goal, I'd be going off as a Sublime player going, that was good. I'd take that.
We've done well there.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Anything over kind of 50 passes, you go, that's a win.
Yep. Evans. Savanandam, Wilson, Henriksen, Wilson, Savanandam, Trong, Phillip? No, maybe not. Bit more aggressive, popping through from the handler movement. They know these cutters are tired. Evans, Henriksen, Menzies.
Positive, more positive this time.
Yeah.
Lower count. Still wouldn't mind seeing more popping. That's not bad.
O is hunting now. He knows these throws are starting to come loose, so he's starting to attack through that centre space now, playing a lot more aggressively. Wilson. No one wide for him, so just content to hold the count for now. Evans. Phillip. They can't afford to be impatient here. They're close to the end zone. They were here before.
Almost this exact spot, Simon.
Wilson. Evans, little activity from defence and offence now. This has been a fairly draining point. Trong wants to get busy. Menzies draws two with the cutter. Savanandam Phillip also hitting this side. Bouncing to Evans. Could probably afford to hit that low side. This is where the numbers are.
Yeah.
There we go. Trong's found Rowan Savanandam. And after over 100 throws from Juggernaut on offence, they secure an offensive hold.
And I talked about the brand of both of these clubs, both renowned for their D, equally if not more so renowned for their lip. And it took 4 points with a little bit of somewhat light-hearted banter between Kylo and Ash Evans.
Yeah.
Ash, obviously an ex-Sublime player, ex-WA boy. But just a little bit of chip.
Yeah.
So probably 3 points later than I thought, to be honest. But
so just looking at the pass count for each of Juggernaut's three offensive possessions, 31, 42, 33. I haven't seen numbers like that from anyone on any team this weekend so far. It's a very, very different style to what we've become accustomed to in Australian Ultimate. And
still having a go about it.
Still having a chat. I would call it a assertively friendly chat, I think, is the tone I'd go for right now, Andrew.
So I'm reasonably sure they're actually talking about whether it's Ash was walking. This is over a kind of a pivot foot.
Yeah. All very amicable. Like, these two do go back a number of years.
Yeah, it all looked very amicable. Couple of gentlemen right there. Oh.
We say amicable for now.
Yeah, well, amicable by our standards,
They
which
will
isn't much.
Yeah. He's walking straight through the Juggernaut sideline at the moment. Real show of dominance there. Couple of goes at that, securing that pull for O'Neill. Eamon. Alexa. Diaz. Classic Cuts moving away, coming back at a sharp angle. Good turning here from Sublime. Alexa. Swing cuts well covered. Bocce. Alexis is burning everything up the line, and Wadrop's wheeled that one in.
Great grab. Stuck it in one mitt. Needed to.
Playing with very tight margins here, the Sublime offense. But it's confidence in your receivers, knowing that they will reel it in. So just putting it to the putting it out of reach of defenders, trusting that your receiver's going to be able to reel it in.
And we saw that from them earlier in the tournament. Some teams really like using the width. Others are happy to work within a really narrow envelope of the field. And that's what Sublime are doing. They're happy to kind of work on one axis, just up and down, not necessarily needing the width. Now, at some point, that's going to come unstuck for them, and then it's about what they do beyond that. But for now, you mentioned earlier combined about 98 passes from Juggernaut on their 0 point, 6 from Sublime. And if you think about time on the field, right now Sublime managed to keep the Heads of State offense out for 100-odd passes. Heads of State's Juggernaut's D kept them out for 6. So if I'm on the sideline as the D team, you go, boys, the turns and the breaks will come, but for now, just keep them out on the field. Because now you're always got to go back out. And then this is our last game of the day. You don't want to put fatigue in the O boys' legs.
So Sublime defense, Juggernaut offense back out on the field. 3-2 at the moment. Still just all offensive holes. Neither team with a clear advantage at the moment. Wilson. Trong. Different personnel up front. With James Warwick having a run with Ben Bastian in that front row. Savannah Trong straight through. Doyle. Back to Trong. Lots of Heads of State players behind the disc at the moment. Not where they want to be. At least one of them wants to push more forward. Evans. It means the second row have collapsed in a lot closer to the disc this time.
There's going to be a violation call. There was a call from Ash.
Contact
like
call,
marking,
maybe?
some form of marking infraction for sure. The count wasn't dropped. I wouldn't mind seeing Ash dump it a count or two earlier. Right now he's kind of holding the disc. The zone allows it that it is quite low pressure.
Yes.
But it doesn't mean you need to hold it, especially if opportunities aren't opening up.
Yeah, and you're not making that second or third row work at all.
That's it. Everyone's comfortable.
Yeah. I reckon in another 5 metres advance, we'll start to see Kyle O get involved. I think he'll start playing a lot more aggressive. I think he's got a very good read on this offensive pattern here.
Big time.
I've seen a couple of turns from Heads of State in the red zone. So Trong with a restart. 23 from goal. Doyle. Trong. Evans. There we go. Doyle's starting to spread out the defence more with some backfield movement, so some downfield movement. Wilson. Savannah down.
This is okay from Jugger. I like seeing Ash and now Henriksen start to get busy, to be a bit more of a presence in that middle third of the field.
And playing wider too, there we go. Some gaps opened up in that front row. Henriksen urging someone to come towards him. Wilson, a bit bemused by that request, just saying, just throw the disc, buddy. Good patience by Wilson here. He had that throwaway earlier. Now he's making certain of everything. Phillip. Moves the chains. They're on the doorstep now. Don't get impatient. Oh, Tron is taking a lot of comfortable backhands to that point.
That last one wasn't one.
No, and then decided the forehand shot to the line. If good field awareness and positioning from Phillip to reel that goal in. Clean hold that time.
Yeah, and I know where you were going with it as well. You're saying, they've got to that position by not throwing anything dicey.
And
then don't change the equation. It's such a simple idea.
Yeah.
But they just feel like that field gets smaller and you start looking for things that you didn't need to throw when you were at the midfield.
There's an optical illusion about it too, that the defence was previously spread out over sort of 30 to 40 metres. Now they're within 15, and it feels like there's a lot more pressure than before. It's not really, though. They're just closer. Like the back row's not on the mark,
Yeah.
There is still space, but 35 pass possession that time.
And we're on serve.
And Sublime defense doing well to contain, and I think that's going to be their plan here, is let offense wear themselves out.
Yeah, I mean, the response is really on Juggernaut now to at least keep Sublime's offense out there for
maybe more than 20 seconds.
We've seen, I think, the most they've had out there is 15 passes.
Most of them are at the red zone on that first point too. O'Neill.
Yeah.
Eamon. A few cuts streaking away. They've got Alexa isolated in the middle. It's really just opening up space for that isolated cutter is the game plan at the moment. Wadrop, he's got Schmidt coming in. Eichner dives through, gets a hand on it. Barr wants to get going straight away, picks it up, and he has put that into the deck.
Now it's going to be run and gun the other way, Simon. It's Botche with the disc. He's looking long. There's no one coming under. One offers now. Della's going to have a dip. He can't get it.
Diaz urging everyone to hit that open side for him, but it's well covered. He's gone up the line. Botche, Wadrop, who wants it? Botche will take it. And there's the goal. Not much celebration as the two Sublime players wanted to raffle it off.
And after an absolute snooze fest of 6 points, the game's come alive thanks to Lockie Eichner and his big bit under. Juggernaut unable to capitalise. Barr, one just coming out of his hand the wrong way. He'll shake it off. He's a professional. He's got that Crocs hat for a reason. He didn't get that as merchandise. He earned that, so he'll be back. But, yeah, we came alive there. Went up just half a notch.
There'll be no one filthier at Seb Barr right now than Seb Barr.
Yeah.
He will give 20 seconds of the most abusive, self-berating inner thoughts. Then he'll shake it off and get back out there. Della was right on the hips of Chev Diaz there too, but Diaz unfazed by that. Wanted Alexa on the first look and beautifully way to throw up the line.
I like Diaz. I saw him for the first time earlier today. He's got what the kids would call Riz, Simon. He's got aura.
Riz, aura.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
No idea. But it's the name. It's what the cool kids say.
Love to hear all about it one day. Bennett Carpenter, his pulling's been putting them in good field position. He keeps this one lower, keeps it in bounds, so some free yards here for Juggernaut if they can move it steadily. Wilson recognises they've moved it up past the brick mark. Looks like a match look this time. Evans urging players to head away from him rather than towards him. Now he's put himself in stall count trouble, but Trong obliges up the line. Evans, Trong, going for a nice little run together. Moves it up right to the goal line.
Just dump it, Ash.
Evans directing traffic. He's got a high-ish stall count, but wore the contact from Vernon, got the reset. Trong. Wilson. Small balling around the front. They've gone the high shot to Savannah, who had completely lost his defender with some early cutting movement. And there we go. I think we've stepped up the energy. We've arrived. This is the game we thought we were going to have.
Hello.
So 4-4 at the moment. The first defensive break for either team. I think it's going to be one's going to become two very quickly. I think as soon as one team gets the first break, they'll get the next one very quickly. But I think who is going to be, not sure at the moment.
And we're going to see our first timeout.
So timeout's been called by Juggernaut.
Mike, can we look at that zone stuff?
So we see that grab for Savannah Dam. Timeout called by Juggernaut. That would have been pre-planned. They would have had this either X number of points or X number of minutes. So Andrew, talk us a bit more through that zone setup you're seeing.
Yeah, so I think Sublime did quite a good job in their structure. They were running a really loose fence. So if we have a look here, we can see all this space really sits underneath the disc. They're running a really high line. So that creates a lot of space for the poppers. What we didn't see was really anyone attacking this kind of middle space here. I think when we saw that happen, that was when Haas were able to get some flow. It's not, you said yourself, the space out here, it's great. They've got, deeps out here, but the middle line is playing that far back that it's kind of a really hard shot. So all the space remains within as the C again. Like, they're just giving them that envelope, and that's the space that I think Heads of State want to attack, because it is, as I said before, it's a 5-10 metre gainer. So I think that's valuable, and I think that would be the message to Heads of State to say, run an aggressive pop in.
So Emma Yeager, she's our sideline reporter for this game. She snuck over to each huddle. What did you hear? What did you hear the message?
Look, Sublime didn't really give me too much. They were just like water break and then kind of walked off. Juggernauts, however, really looking to stop those unders from the sounds of things. They're just saying, look, we need to stop their plan A and go to plan B. So I think that's what we're going to be looking for. Lots and lots of pressure, and that first look is not going to be on in this point.
Clear messaging there from Joshi Phillip.
And he's spot on too.
Yeah.
Like we were talking about, the Sublime's offense just being a little bit too easy. Almost a miscommunication. Talk about taking your eyes off the disc. Sublime managed to keep the pull reception in their possession.
Alexa Wadrop both can't get open, but Bocce hits that high side. He's winding up. Castriano bit on that. Nice big under there. Schmidt been under a lot of heat on his unders, but he's continuing to work them. Diaz. They're pointing at the reset. Bocce. Eamon. He's got Alexa down that continuation to the high side. Doesn't like it. Bocce nearly doubled back, so had to do a bit of work. He's got a smile on his face and gets open. Wadrop with Della on his hip. And a pick's been called.
Jacko genuinely loving, as am I, this matchup.
Yeah.
Bocce and Castrogano just at the bottom left of screen there. That is a cracking matchup. A couple of little meatballs going at it.
Dingo's teammates at the World Championships last year. So be very familiar with each other's game and each other's strengths, weaknesses. It's a good matchup here. Bocce Diaz has got free. Good switching there. Eamon. Wadrop's one under space, but Della's on his toes. Bocce wants it deep. He's going to come towards this now.
Oh,
Castriano. Frustrated with himself. He had the dukes there, but...
Is he frustrated with himself, or is he just trying to hand off a little bit of accountability? There's a lot of chat. It was in through the bait side, but it was a great battle with him and Jacko all point.
So the message there from Juggernaut to start the unders, there's a lot more heat on all those underpasses, so we're going to have to see Sublime extend those initial movements, so the out and back, like the V cut is what you call it. You take your defender out and beat the back under. So you can see Della there. This gave Wadrop a couple now. Back on the way through, saying, well done, brother.
And you were talking about Schmidt earlier. As we see, this is just where Castrogano gets torched by Bocce. He's a big fella, isn't he? I don't like when he's standing near me.
I'd rather he walk somewhere else. Yep, guess what we're going to do, Tony? The perils of being positioned right at the sideline. We take a look at the Sublime list. We've talked about Ryan Schmidt. He's the one that's been really extending those deep cuts and unders. We saw Ben Bastian, number 25, Zach Eicher, 78, controlling their zone, and obviously talking a lot about Jackson Bocce, number 1, Kyle O, number 3, key players to watch. And
we were having a chat earlier in a previous game, Simon. I'm going to coin a best bloke starting 7. So a great teammate, great player, but most importantly, a great bloke to have. And we've listed first player and captain as Kyle O. Write in the chat if you've got other nominations for the starting 7.
Phillip, Eriksson.
You're commentating, you're not saying the good starting 7A, just to clarify.
Okay. Not much happening in the dump space. Phillip has to head away. He's going to be under a bit of heat. There should be a free player here somewhere. He spotted him. Trong. Wilson's gone deep. Menzies under. Sublime defense recovers. Trong at the red zone now. Less than 10 from goal. Menzies finds Henriksen. Plenty of space on the high side. Whoever wants it. Phillip heads out there, but Bastian covers that with the mark.
No dump. Nice throw.
Terrific throw. Trong.
So are they deliberately running no dump?
I think so.
That's another lovely throw to space. They're throwing each other into space really well, but the handler's having to work overtime. Another big bid. This time it's O. It stays in Trong's hands. Trong has it at front cone. Phillip has the goal. And again, we're seeing this build. It was a sleepy start, but now at 5-all, we're starting to see the bids come, Simon.
Typically for a reset pass, Andrew, you're looking for something easy, comfortable, familiar. But we're seeing a lot of cutting patterns from the Juggernaut handlers that are less predictable, more janky, a bit more different directions. Less defendable because there's less predictable, but also less predictable for your throwers. We've seen a couple of very, very good throws for the reset on a stall 6 or 7, but having them be difficult throws, you do not want to be relying on them. Legs are going to get fatigued.
I was going to say, especially as
the game of the day for these teams.
Yep, the more the games go on,
you're
going to see the margin of error there reduce.
So you see Trong, he puts one, I think, hopefully we'll see this one he puts out to Eriksson. He's weighted it perfectly, but to be relying on that is your safe option. I mean, good on them for being able to carry it off now as we see Kyle O go full stretch. Trong would have heard those footsteps coming too.
Yeah, and it's about pressure over time.
Yeah.
You know, that's going to be a pretty key matchup, you'd imagine.
Yeah.
You could see Kyle Brucey going to Tronga, so you know that's going to be in his mind for those other points as well.
Yeah. If you've got Kyle O, if you think you're open on Kyle O by 3 metres or more, no, you're not.
More fool you.
Yeah, you're not. Bedrag Sweeney pulling duties. Very blurry, old Podge. I don't know. It's I know he's pulling that look off. Sublime taking the easy yards while Juggernaut defense gets set up. Alexa. Wide drop.
Another bid.
He's taking the long shot, looking for Schmidt. Schmidt heading away rather than the under this time. Clean, tidy offense. Very much a set play, that one, Andrew.
Yeah, one of the best defensive sets that we've seen from Sublime. Had to stay half a sniff, but really Sublime feeling pretty comfortable. Schmidt is putting in some hard yards, as you said, coming under, but now also getting it done on the deep side. So probably an adjustment that Juggernaut need to make.
I think up until now, Eichner and Schmidt, that was breaking even.
Yeah.
I'd have Schmidt ahead on points 10-8 at the moment.
Yep.
At the end of round 1.
Yeah.
They need to put a bit of work into maybe the Alexa and Wadrop matchups. They had Wilson Tran on Wadrop that time. Not a bad look, but Wadrop just made light work of him. I think Tran would be wanting to another go at that one, but I wouldn't mind seeing maybe a Della on Wadrop instead, match him for that reach. Maybe Liu on the Alexa matchup, perhaps. Caleb Liu.
Yeah, I'd like that.
Or maybe even switch Michael Trong over to defense and have that matchup. We've seen Alexa's first 3 steps. That's where he gets his pace, just the explosiveness. He doesn't necessarily need to rely on the V cuts that we've seen from other cutters. He can just put a nice little jab step and get going. So you want someone else who's got that explosiveness to take away his plan A, force him to do something else.
Yep. So the sidelines for Sublime starting to come alive now. They've arrived.
6-5 the score. All offensive holds for now.
It's interesting,
From
isn't it?
to Evans and Doyle. He had 2 there. So, okay to put a high one up. They can raffle it. Evans, Henriksen, Wilson. Slightly different shape to this zone from Sublime here. They've got 3 up the front now.
It's more aggressive, isn't it?
And they've got that space in the middle, as you said, Andrew. They're transitioning to match. You can hear the cries now.
It's one loose.
Yep. Phillip to Evans. I think Jake Wilson was MVP at that point. He recognised the transition was happening and didn't draw attention to himself. He just quietly snuck up field. Sublime defenders were carrying on down the field trying to find out who the loose player was downfield, not realising that Wilson had drifted out of the handle space. And then he was spotted up with that shot through the middle, which opened up that high side for an easy score to Ash Evans.
Bit of grassy knoll action, second shooter, you reckon, just hiding in plain sight.
You can see him.
Yeah,
There you go. Just walking pace, just drifted away. Didn't draw any attention to himself.
And then it was break side action.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's a skill in itself to recognise what the defence are doing, and when you're transitioning, defence will wait till there's, I guess, a steady moment in offence to transition. The good offences will recognise that transition's happening and attack
Up the
differently.
pace. Yep.
And maybe swing the disc somewhere, take an over-the-top shot, change up personnel in the backfield and downfield, just to buy time for that defence to be caught scrambling and work out who's where, who's doing what. So 6-all the score. 38 minutes in. Of course, 100-minute caps here at Australian Ultimate Championships. 15 the target score. I think we'll see. We'll go the distance here, Andrew. I think we will get to 15. But whether we get there before 100 minutes. I haven't seen many turns from either team since that long point we had at 2-all. It's just been clean holes since then. Eamon.
Would have got good odds for that.
Yeah. Zone look here from Juggernaut. Surrounding the disc. Alexa doesn't have any easy shots to look at. Has to break out. Says Diaz. Diaz to Bocce. Bocce wants to keep it going, but
Fake the entire zone into that hammer with those fakes.
backwards to Diaz. Gets just to reset the count. He's got eyes for nowhere else but over the top, but Juggernaut well covered everything pretty well. Wide drop. Bocce. Eamon. O'Neill's finds some space out the back. And wide drop with a nice clean one. Not quite in the end zone. Goes across and Leichner's got a fingertip to that one. Put it out of reach of Alexa. And just as well, because that could have been a nice easy hold.
And after 8 consecutive clean holds, we have a turn. So huge opportunity for Juggernaut just inside this half to take a 7-6 lead.
Sebastian Barr, horizontal set, Della flashing lateral. Everything well covered by Sublime at the moment.
Here we go.
Della.
Here we go.
Liu's gone. Eichner's gone. Does the old forehand stomp into the hands of Eichner.
Not in.
Calm as you like. Not quite at the end zone. Puts it out to the advantage of Calvin Dew. And there's our first break. And Juggernaut stormed the field.
Two cuts off the back of the stack. Really clear. They knew when Tommy Della had it where he wanted to throw it, and it was Eichner, the cut that was on it, as we see Sublime burn a timeout to talk it over.
Can we imagine a universe where Tom Della did not huck that as soon as he got it?
Not one I want to be in.
No. At least he chose to shoot wide. He's put it across the field rather than up the line. That was travel. No
Just
one's
flat
gonna
out
call that.
travel. Brought to you by Bass Pro Fishing. Flat out travel.
And Eichner just took his time. He just caught it, stood there, didn't want to panic, no faking anything. He knew his teammates were there to be supporting him soon. And Juggernaut just had more players there in support. One went to either side of the end zone.
Yeah.
And it just meant that Eichner had a clear leading pass to do because Alexis caught where he had to pick someone to throw to.
Yep.
So one timeout each.
As we watch the Juggernaut list, I mean, obviously, Simon, given our past, a lot of these players familiar, but who are some of the up-and-coming young bucks in this lineup?
Well, we've seen Max Napolitano getting involved, number 76, young defensive player, former Victorian under-18s player, took a bit of time away from the sport, but come back and stormed his way into the Juggernaut team this year. Hamish Menzies as well, another very solid player, under 24 rep this year. And Josh and Ben Phillip, the Phillip brothers, they've graduated to sort of become more senior players on this team at a young age. They're also going to be representing Australia at the under 24 level this year. Emma, you were over at the timeout huddles, having a poke in.
Yeah, look, the Sublime still not going to say too much, but they did say excellent work in the deep space. So I think they're very happy with what they're doing in regards to their movement zone. But I guess we'll have to see. They were kind of just giving themselves a little bit of a head up, a little bit of a hype, which I think they need after that break.
Yeah. It would have been a very premeditated thing to call the timeout if a break happened.
Yep. Especially just inside half. I can't remember if they called the first one, but...
No, Juggernaut called the first one, but what they've done here is they've given the Juggernaut defence a bit of a break, a bit of a breather. That pull is going to drift in.
Oh, geez.
They've put him in good field possession. Alexa. Still in their own end zone here, Sublime. Not many cuts coming towards him. Has to go high for Bocce. Lou on his hip. Bocce, Eamon.
Intensity's ramped up here, Simon.
Schmidt on that under. Trying to set up a block. Wad drop at full reach. He's got a couple of players going deep. Sweeney's underneath it and takes the intercept. Clean intercept. He's read that well. The throw was going to fall short. Seb Barr. Tom Della. Eichner's charging deep. Trong's coming under. Getting on the doorstep now. Moved it across. Doyle, he's got options. Takes his time. Trong gets it back. Doyle continues upfield.
He's unmarked.
Trong can't get it to him. Eichner's had to go full stretch. And it's not the tidiest of offense, but sometimes scrambling to get that break. Sometimes it's what you need. It's just what you can do.
Eichner stepping up, being one of the leaders of Juggernaut this half, both sides of the disc, and he catches the goal that puts them up 8-6, taking out the first half. And Simon, I think we ramped up. It was a slow burn. She was a slow burn, but we got here. I think at the end of that point is probably where we thought we'd start the game. Some big shots, some big bids, which sets us up really well for the second half.
And we said earlier that one break would become two very quickly. We didn't think one was going to happen in isolation.
You said that.
I said that.
No room for humility in this.
Absolutely not. I made that call, and I'm standing by it, and I was correct.
And a nice D from Sweeney. We kind of had to push on straight away because it was a catch D, so that was straight into offense. But as you say, a great read.
So 45 minutes of the game, we're taking the half. Juggernaut at 8, Sublime at 6. We're going to take a break as well. We'll be back to the second half shortly.
In the name of giving more, we're offering access to more games via our YouTube membership plan.
More action.
More of the best teams, more of the action, more ways to watch.
That's worse than that. That's too good.
I'm just going to say wrong. About ready for second half action here in the Australian Ultimate Championships. Final pool play game of the Australian Ultimate Championships. Simon Talbot here with Andrew Moroney. And Emma Yeager's been roving our sideline. Emma, you were over listening to the Sublime huddle. What was the topic of conversation there?
Well, it started out about cloud storage, and then we actually got to Frisbee. So, look, it was a really inspiring speech by the captain, actually. I'm feeling inspired by it. But basically, this is Pressure Ultimate. This is Div 1 Ultimate. They need to be lifting. They just said, the energy's dropped a little bit. They need to bring it up. They've had 2 breaks in a row, and now it's time to really step it up to the next level and get it right back. So, but yeah, super inspiring. Like, I was very impressed. Public speaker potential, 100%.
And I was over listening to the Juggernaut huddle, and after I heard Joshi Phillip speak to that team, I went looking for a wall to run through Andrew.
Oh, really?
He has got these boys
my captain
revved
stuff.
up.
Yeah.
Yep, asked them. He said he asked them at the start of the game. They've got 100 minutes of effort. Job's only half done. They need to keep lifting. They need to find more. Wilson, Henriksen. Match look here.
I like
they've
it.
transitioned to a vertical stack. We haven't seen a lot of this vertical stack from the O-line yet. Trong continues to Doyle. Doyle back to Trong. Evans with the under and a travel called, I think, by Carpenter.
I think it may have been a pick because he's gone and caught up. So
Yes.
to me, that suggests pick.
Now we're in very close quarters.
Yeah. As usual, the men useless with all the hand signals. So thanks for nothing, lads. Let's put it together ourselves, shall we?
Doyle back to Trong.
Doyle's gone.
Henriksen. He's pointing the shot up. He's got Phillip. He's got Wilson. Perfect shot to Phillip. He just bided his time, waiting in the stack. Attacked at the right moment. That's 3 in a row for Juggernaut, 9-6.
Yeah, first hold out of half. If Juggernaut are legit about kind of going deep at this tournament, that's the kind of thing coming out of half that you must hold. They haven't done that consistently throughout the season or even this tournament and have let teams back into it, but that was a really solid, reliable, safe point. Worked their way through a bit of discomfort and did a really good job building the pressure, but took the longer shots, the more impactful shots when they were there as well.
Yeah. And Coach Phillip brought that up in the huddle. He called the team out for saying, you have been here before this weekend and you have let teams back in. A very direct, honest feedback to the
elephant
team.
in the room stuff. Okay.
Yeah. Refreshing to see from a coach.
Yeah, I like it.
Josh Phillip. 3 goals, 1 assist so far. He's earned a drink break, but this might be his last one. He might be able to play every point from now on. If he's going to be in that kind of form. We see the Juggernaut defense. They're going to go with the match, I think, going by the way that Della's pointing at individual teammates. He'll be calling each of them saying, you take this player, you take this player, you take this player. So deliberately assigned matchups, and I think that's the right move for this defense.
Yeah, and speaking of kind of, I guess, the defensive strategies, even though Sublime's zone was kind of working in holding Juggernaut up, I like the fact that they switched it up in their last point to a match. Because, yes, Jugger scored, fine, but there was a lot of pressure down there on the first few throws, and they're going to need to up the ante and build some momentum and energy and pressure to close this gap.
Yep. Blocks are going to happen around the handler space in the Juggernaut offense. So O'Neill for Sublime now. Eamon. Schmidt with Eichner on his hip.
He has worn a shadow all day.
Now, they've done the old classic. Schmidt hit the deck, so everyone assumed there was a stoppage.
Yeah, but he's a tough guy.
Well, Chase gone, I didn't hear no bell. I didn't hear no whistle.
Really enjoying Schmidt.
Della on Wadrop. There's the matchup. It's just off the right of screen at the moment. Wadrop's drifting out of the moment. He'll come back under it a pass or two. Eamon up the line. Alexa heading away. Boche can't quite get through. Castriano. Perfectly weighted throw. Schmidt charging up the line. Alexa coming in. They're always attacking this front cone, backing themselves to get open. Watche.
Whoa.
Big loopy backwards throw.
Where are you going?
Eamon. Crossfield back to the middle. Bocce's having the time of his life. Della on the hip and wad drop. Continuing off to that high side. And they've pushed it one too far. Caliviotis wants to get the restart quickly. Finds Della.
Oh, here we go. Nice swing.
Della to Tran. I think maybe Cutter's heading away from him. They're all attacking that break side. Della's taken off now. Watch out a dump at the moment. He's put a high loopy throw up. Castriano.
Watch Caliviotis setting up for power position on this.
Good bodying up.
Gets the under.
Well called, Andrew. He's got a good long look at what's happening here. Liu. They've started to crowd this near side. Time to hit the high side. Eichner obliges.
Tony's got to get under. Tony's got to get under.
Trout can't go three. Della's going to have to stretch. He's misstepped. Liu frustrated with himself. He let that throw go probably a fraction too early before he knew where Della was going. And it's that less predictable cutting we were talking about before, Andrew. Bocce.
Nice
35 from goal. Alexa now about 40 from goal.
And now it's Sublime stack that's just way too deep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Eamon.
Yeah. Oh.
Clean hand block there by Eichner. That was going to be a very predictable throw. Didn't have a lot of options there. Eichner receives from Della. He's got a lot of time to look and size up everything. Caliviotis free. Eichner on the doorstep now. Oh, there it goes. Eichner's just on the old cheeky. Keep the 1 foot in bounds.
Yep, toe it.
Didn't mind the fist pump there from Caliviotis. He's earned at that point. Put a bit of work in.
Happy with himself, wasn't he?
That deep stack from Sublime abandoned their handlers. Eamon just meant that he had nothing to go lateral. He was only ever going to throw forwards. And Eichner just knew that straight away. And
yep.
Just had his hands there before Eamon even wound up.
Yeah,
he almost looked annoyed at that handblock. That was just too easy. Well, yeah. So Eichner doing the work.
That's going to become a meme, I reckon.
Sorry.
That's the next intermediate male ultimate player meme. Now in GIF form.
Sorry, that's just sent me.
Yeah! Yatta!
So 9-6 now to Juggernaut.
Cult figure, the Greek mate. Old tougher. He would actually be worthy of the conversation. The best bloke 7. Maybe not after that little celebration.
Bit of me about that one.
That in particular, yes. Tim Booth.
Good call.
You'd think of Tim Booth.
John Damiani.
Yep.
Showing our age a bit here with some of these names.
Well, I'm trying to think of the younger fellas. I've never played with him. I barely had a conversation with him, but John O'Keys.
Yes.
Strikes me as someone I go, you know what? I reckon I'd lie down in traffic for you, like getting the, you talk about the captain, my captain there.
Elite teammate, Jono.
Yeah.
Back to the game at hand. Sweeney in focus. We'll be looking for good position with this, Paul. He's just put this one down the dead centre, not floating with putting him close to the sideline. We've got a side stack here from Sublime. Out in space. Vernon. The next look. Carpenter.
Good goal.
They've gone with a pretty strong O-line here. They've pulled Bennett across from D. They've got Vernon out there as well. Bocce, O.
Yeah, I
wonder. It's crucial to stay in touch here on this offensive point.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to monitor Sublime's lines and see if and how much they shorten.
Yeah. They'll probably want to work to about halfway before shooting, I think. There we go. Eamon's got the advantage. No one got up. O's gone deep for him there. He's put it up. Oh, no. Sweeney's there with him. Holitana's got to get involved. Sweeney gets up over O. Rubbing his back, maybe hinting he copped a little bit of contact there, but
exactly what he's doing, Simon. Well picked up.
Yeah, O's working through it.
A couple of deep blocks for Sweeney.
Castriano. He's put the long shot up looking for Luke Doyle. Luke's going to have to do a bit of work to reel this one in. Takes it a full stretch.
Great grab.
Has to run it back as he ran it to the end zone. He's on the goal line. Sweeney's right there. His compatriot. Oh, look at that. What a turn.
And the Irish eyes are smiling. That's the Irish connection.
I was going to say your accent's going to come out now soon, Moz. I can feel it.
I thought about it. No, and if I didn't do it then, there's probably no time to do it.
It's smart play by Sweeney there. He had his head down as if he was going to run straight past Doyle for like a leading pass, and O's just gone with him.
Yeah.
And he's just put the brakes on, turned back inside. Nice little dish. Good work by Doyle. So he's caught it, ran it to the end zone, so had to run back to the line. Give him a good look at who's coming. He's made like eye contact with Sweeney. And there we go.
Yes. O'Doyle does in fact rule.
There was a nice little eyebrow raise and a nod there. I reckon this may be a play those two have done before.
Thick as thieves. Yeah.
One more dance here, brother.
Yeah, let's run the Guinness play. Yeah.
Juggernaut players all pointing at planes, I think.
Yep.
First time seeing one, so a bit of a novelty for them. Bit more relaxed attitude out there from Juggernaut, which I do not like to see, Andrew.
Yeah, well, they do have, unfortunately, a bit of a reputation of letting teams back in.
Sublime know this. We've heard them talking about this pre-game and on the sideline. A few snide comments here and there.
Oh, I love that.
We're out to that 5-goal margin.
Yeah.
That I've mentioned a few times this weekend. It's very rare to see teams come back from a 5-goal deficit at a national championship. It's not impossible, but extremely difficult.
We did also say if there was one team that had spit it up and bottled it, would be Juggernaut. So,
yeah.
But I'd also say, and this is not, I was very happy to be critical about Juggernaut, but not to be overly critical about Sublime. But in years gone by, they have kind of been a team that if it does get a little bit hard, they turn their toes up a little bit. So I don't think, especially given some of the commentary overheard at the start, I don't think they'll be doing that. But that's really the pressure, the challenge that's in front of them.
Yeah. So while we're talking, Juggernaut coach Joshi Phillip called a timeout, and I reckon he spotted the same thing we did. I reckon he spotted that little bit of relaxed complacency, and I think he's dialed them back in. They've all gone very quiet again. He's got the teacher voice on and said, boys, there's work to do here.
Yeah, a coach that's brought in quite late into the season, a bit more of like I don't want to say game day coach, but the team already had their structures and a lot of their strategy set, but I think they saw a gap just around exactly what he's kind of brought here, like seeing the moment, being outside of the playing group, and also being a single voice for the lads to rally behind.
Yeah. Eamon. Alexa. Schmidt.
Oh, he's played so well today.
He's had a great game. O'Neill getting up high. Dias didn't feel that pressure at all. He's put the high loopy one, looking for Schmidt and Eamon at the back there. Eamon's drifted deep, got himself on the other side of the scoreboard now to give himself an assist to go with a goal to go with his 3 assists. Dias just is Riz. Nice. Is it nice?
Aura.
Is being calm and collected and unfazed. Because that's what I'm seeing out of Dias this game.
I like the way he goes about it, Simon.
I think he even had a smile on his face as he was wearing Castriano like a Hello Kitty backpack there. Just said, oh yeah, a bit of physicality. That's the way we're going to play this. Cop this throw.
Yep. Yeah, you want some of that? That's fine.
Yep.
And I reckon that was probably an and one. As we see the put go up, it was a 2-on-2. I think there was a foul from little hand in the back. Yeah, you'd see that paid in footy.
Yep.
So that one was going back at worst. So let's see what Sublime can do. We know that they're a team that feeds on energy, that feeds on big bids, on their teammates, on a big sideline. Exactly. So their O team's gone out and done it, but that's not going to be enough. They're going to need to go on a D run to make a game of this.
So just a standard D line, not mixing it up yet. Got O, Bastion, Carpenter. Vernon. He'll be there to patrol that deep space. Sam Robbins getting involved. So sends a pull up. Plenty of hang time there. They'll need to get that pressure on early. That may drift low and left. That's going to stay in bounds and put him in good field position to start their defense. Nice. Wilson. heat on from the very first pass. This is good. Henriksen.
They've gone back to that zone, Simon, which is interesting.
Yeah, but nice wide looks here from Juggernaut. Evans. Henriksen, Wilson. They're starting to take a few more risks there. And they've got to transition to a match now that they've been broken through. Henriksen not leaving himself a lot of room to get free, but heads out wide to Menzies. Menzies got Phillip coming towards him, hits him low. Not many cuts heading away at the moment. Trong under.
What a matchup.
Henriksen. Menzies been left unguarded. He's dragged Vernon out of that deep space. Smart cutting by Menzies. Not many looks on the break side. Henriksen thought about that high release flick.
Great.
Doing a number on Trong at the moment, forcing him backwards all the time, and that might have been a stall out call.
Yeah.
Saying retracted.
Yeah.
Had to have been close.
Yeah, it was high.
Yeah.
You probably want Henriksen to look 1 or 2 counts earlier. It's interesting with those tips and the visor as well. It's a bold look. Anyway.
Very 2003 look.
Yeah, Backstreet Boys. Oh, big pin! Another big pin! Uncontested foul. Strip.
Definitely heard the clap from the disc being in Trong's hands. But
this is what we were talking about, Simon. 2 in a row, 2 bids. We see the first one there. Not as close as this second one. Oh, Brucey.
Could not have been closer.
Put him on your back.
Menzies, Henriksen. Doyle's headed deep. Phillips headed under. Doyle's doing an absolute number on the downfield defense. He keeps us drawing out deep cutters, opening up under space for his teammates. He's putting in a lot of work here. Trong having to work. He shot at Wilson. I don't know about that one. Wilson's had to go early, but Evans has run that out the back.
They were well out the back, weren't they?
Yeah, well out the back.
And I think that you see, I mean, Trong, one of the most experienced players in that team, rep player. I think that's a pressure throw. I think that's, you know what? I don't want to cut under with Brucey on my hammer anymore. Make this someone else's problem. And that drew the pressure turnover.
Yeah. Carpenter to restart.
There's a poach under.
Oh. He's taking the shot at Vernon. He's got a couple to beat, but the throw's to his advantage. Goes up nice and early. Takes his time. Out to leading pass to Bastion. And Sublime put one back.
And that's a break. There's one.
There's one break. We've seen them come in runs. We saw Juggernaut get 4. Lots of teammates flocking to Kyle O. Very happy with the job he's done there.
And I'm glad that they recognise that because, okay, you get a big D or a big Sky, it's easy. What Kyle did was build pressure on one of Juggernaut's key players to contribute to that turnover. So, yeah, I'm really glad that people get around them because not always that stuff can sometimes go unnoticed. Not so from the Sublime teammates.
Good team play there from Ben Bastion as well. He was the one that peeled off that deep shot to sort of pressure it to go higher because he saw the pressure building, thought they're going to do something silly here soon if I peel off. Add to it. Not only that, he's at the other end 70 metres away, offering support to Michael Vernon after a terrific catch.
Yep. Yeah,
so good work by him, and he's backing up to run defence again.
Yeah, I like it.
Yep.
Vernon is big.
He
big
is
unit.
One long fella. So 11-8 the score. Juggernaut offense back out there again. No mix of personnel. The same. Well, I haven't mixed the personnel much at all this tournament. It's just.
I think they'll switch it. So if the O gets broken out, I think they'll just send the D line straight on. Keep the units, but just change it up.
Yep.
Get the O.
Usually on an O line, you'll see there'll be a group of 8 or 9 with 1 or 2 subbing off here and there. But I think they've just run. We've got our 7 blokes who are just going to get it done. They're putting the faith in them. Side stack set up here. They've got Evans and Doyle working together on the high side, but the zone forces them to abandon that and fall into a traditional 3 and 4 formation. Evans.
Not a fan of throwing on a low count, is Ash?
No, he didn't
better.
have much of a count. Wilson. Doyle. Lots of throwers in close here. Doyle to Evans. They're transitioning to match now, so there's going to be a few players free here if they can find them.
Well done.
Fantastic throw there by Trong. Made Evans work for it, but Evans giving him the nod going.
It's okay.
Not bad.
I look good on the stream. So
I got you covered.
Yeah. We're frozen, Mikey.
No. It was, again, attacking on that transition. So we've heard them call, usually what we're hearing them say on the sideline is find. What that means is they're telling defenders to find a matchup because we're about to transition to the next catch. And Juggernaut's taking advantage of that. They hear the call and think, right, time to attack.
Yeah, it was good. It was an interesting kind of look. It was unconventional because he was trying to look back into the small space.
Yeah.
But you're right. It was like, hold on, we've got the one out, almost like a one-out isolation.
Yeah.
And good communication between both players.
Evans throwing his body behind that catch, whether he needed to.
No,
that exercise for the viewer.
Yeah, with someone like Ash, who is a great athlete, but also somewhat fragile, physically fragile.
You can just hear all the air get sucked out of the sideline whenever he leaves his feet.
Just get up. Just get up.
Yeah. He's good. $12-8. Juggernaut, the team from Melbourne. Sublime out of Perth on offense. Eamon. Zone look, couple up the front for Juggernaut. Pretty loose application. Boche, he's shot. He's looking for Schmidt. This is to the advantage of Schmidt. He's going to have to do some work. Probably a bit too direct, that throw. Schmidt definitely had the step. It definitely was on, but just the throw had a bit of shape on it that made it fly direct.
Yeah, he certainly had the separation on Della. Got in behind him. But just not enough float.
So Juggernaut to play offense. We're going to have to kill a bit more time while Barr walks at a leisurely pace to pick up the disc.
Yeah, I mean, this is why you don't have old players on your rosters.
So they've got a horror set. Eichner ready to cut in the middle. He's got the matchup with Alexa. You also see Wilson Tran out there. So you think Eichner might be the first move with the Tran being the actual target. But we've got Tom Della on this near side wing just in the red hat there.
I'd just be happy if Seb doesn't throw it sideways.
Yeah.
There we are.
Liu cutting. Not for Doo's put it up. Barr's got a couple to go with. And Boche peeled off that thrower beautifully. He knew what that was going to do. Too much air underneath that throw. So Boche with the disc. About 20 from goal. Wardrop getting attention from Sweeney. Boche, Eamon cutting inside. No dump action. He's going to have to throw forward. He puts it out to Diaz.
There's a poach.
Boche urging, he's stuck. Open up the throwing lanes. Get to the middle, boys.
So many switches being run in the stack, but Sublime unable to capitalise.
Wide drop. Getting so with some high stall counts here, which usually goes on downfield pressure, and there it is. We thought it was coming. Kelvin Doo getting a clean knockdown on that one. So Barr to pick up. 64 from goal, deep in Coffin corner. They want to get it out of that corner. So backwards and sideways to Sweeney. Coming out of their own end zone.
Oh, big bid.
Schmidt getting it ahead of Della. Tran. Barr flashing across the field. Calabio's camped out deep, but he's kept a defender out there. He's going to have to come under soon. And Tran threw the speculator up. Della wasn't aware for it. Schmidt with the clean block. Eamon. 25 from goal. Looking infield. Nice little shape on that throw to Boche. Again, Boche urging his stack just to tidy up, open up some space for each other. Eamon looking to the high side, but Boche says, fine, I'll move for you, but have it back.
Boche's gassed.
He wants it to get to the high side. Wide drop finally obliges. Alexa, less than 10 from goal now. Wardrop can't find space. Sweeney there putting a tight, solid physical mark on. Alexa's just going to have to throw it.
Wow.
He's put it into the lap, into the hands of Alex O'Neill.
And there's a stall.
And stall out called. And one day at an AUC, Andrew, we'll see a stall out call that is not contested. I don't think today's that day.
My favourite is the Action Reaper. I think I threw it before you said 10.
Yes.
Well, I think
I said
you actually
10.
had it.
Wowee.
There you go.
The look of shock there from Sweeney.
Yeah.
It's as shocked as I was at accepting
Yeah,
foul call.
I was
But
gonna
good
say,
on,
you look like a bit of a tool now, don't you?
but good on Alexa for being comfortable with that. And Barr calls the timeout. And so, timeout called. They'll be second for the half from Juggernaut. And probably not a bad call. They haven't had the tidiest of
I agree.
offense looking that way. And it's getting late enough in the game that it probably is worth burning it now.
Yep. Yeah, critical point in the context of the game.
Yep. So, we'll see some sort of set play, I think, from Juggernaut. Who do you think is going to be the target here? They've been trying to get the disc to Della.
Yeah.
Even though he's been very tightly guarded. So there's probably an outlet somewhere else we could look at.
Yeah, I mean, you could definitely run him as a bit of the decoy, kind of, decoy forward, Billy Brownless.
Yeah.
Podgy. I mean, Podgy's been good. Sweeney, he's been good deep. He's pulled down a couple of defensive grabs. I wouldn't mind seeing him isolated as the one out.
Yeah.
I'm not sure who else was playing on this 7. Was Calaviotis on this 7?
No.
No.
I think a decoy cut from Della
Yes.
into an undercut from Eichner might be the play here, and then get it to Bar, maybe Sweeney, because I think they'll want to be seeking out Della deep depending on the matchup. I think Schmidt's been the matchup on Della, which is not a bad shout, but if they change that matchup to someone else and put Schmidt on Eichner, which is who he's been mostly playing on, that'll be the move.
Yep.
So, Emma, you were over close to both huddles. Did you manage to catch what was being said over the singing and clapping?
I was going to say, yeah, the chant was overpowering. But no, I did catch a little bit of Sublime. They said we need to be doing a hard flick force, keeping ourselves accountable, and really just work hard. That's the main goal, is just work hard, respect your matchups, and get it done.
So the setup with a vertical stack instead of the traditional horror. We have Della starting at the back of the stack. So I think the decoy cut might be on here. He's got that Schmidt matchup. But Alexa got the Eichner matchup.
Oh, good step.
Sweeney unleashes it. Kelvin Dew underneath it. Lockie Eichner there as well. Jackson Boche there. And Kelvin Dew just took the under. And Eichner there, I think, is the team thing. He could have gone into it as well, but said, no, I'm just here in support.
Scraps, yeah.
And it only lets a very narrow channel there for Boche to get in underneath it. So good team play there from Juggernaut.
Yeah, and I like Kelvin backing himself in. All the players kind of went to the right, waiting for the disc to come down. He took front position.
Yeah.
But it was the best read. Nice up the line from Sweeney.
Yeah.
Through in power position.
Well
wasn't
shot
perfect.
too.
Yeah. Yeah, see, Jacko gave up that inside position.
Yeah. I think he was worried about Eichner coming in over the top, so decided to focus
Yeah,
on him.
yeah, two, yep.
Yeah, do with a lot of activity around him, just held his nerve, said, no, I'm happy with my run, happy with my line.
Yep.
So 13-8, the score.
Not from here, surely, Simon. Not with
We're
Philip.
going to keep our big mouth shut,
Yeah,
Andrew.
yeah, we've been here before.
So some different personnel out here on Juggernaut's D-line. O-line for Sublime. Boche coming in, Boche and O coming across. Carpenter across as well. So this is mixed up the personnel for offense this time. Vernon out there as well. Probably a decoy cut from him to open up. But you think Vernon might draw perhaps the Ben Phillip matchup? Probably not Della. I think Della will try and want to play loose here somewhere, but there's not really anyone you can sag off here unless you sag off a handler. I think Castriano will take the Bocce matchup. Perhaps Eichner on O this time. High floaty pull. This is going to be enough time for Juggernaut to get down there. O'Neill.
Nice cut.
Eamon. Napolitano's got the job on O. On his toes. Looking for that 45-degree shot.
Ooh.
Schmidt comes to meet it. Bocce can't quite get upfield. Gets it clean. Napolitano's got a chase, but that is well to the advantage of Kyle O. Good little some quick ball movement there from Sublime was the order of that O point. That's why they had those players out there, and they've done very well there.
Oh, and there's a little mini light heavyweight bout between Bocce and Castrigano. Bocce winning on a points decision. Light heavyweight, yeah, they're looking svelte.
Sure. Good attack on the disc by Schmidt there. It was a tight throw.
Bang! But two players that do like smiling a lot when they play, and they're both having fun.
Giving us a wave while they've done it too.
Yeah,
so.
Nice little look back from Jacko. Don't think we missed it, champ.
13-9 to the advantage of Juggernaut. This game still has a bit to play out here. They've got their just standard D line out there, but O's on there. Carpenter, Warwick, McKenzie, Bastion, Kinsella, and Archer. Probably a zone look again with the transition, I think. It's been working for them in terms of slowing down the offense. It hasn't resulted in too many blocks of recent points. But as the Juggernaut gets impatient and fatigued, we'll start to see some riskier throws. So there we go. They've gone the match
I think that's the right
defense. Josh Phillip. A lot of cuts coming towards him, not much heading away. Wilson, Doyle, Henriksen.
The cuts have dried up.
Evans. It's got to work the unders here, Juggernaut. There's not a lot of movement. Savanandam. Phillip. Not a lot of continuation on the cuts here. They're very adept at going back and forth. Not
set
much
up, reset, set
forward.
up, reset.
Yep, Trong. There was the creativity of the throw there from Doyle to throw Trong into power position to open that one up. Evans took off to that break side early. Had a couple of metres advantage on his defender. Not a lot you can do about that in the downfield. So 14-9 the score, and we can just about say that Juggernaut have sealed up a quarterfinal berth for tomorrow.
And I think...
So just about, everyone. Calm down.
Yep. And I think just about, I don't know what other qualifiers I can put in there, I believe they may potentially play New Zealand.
Wellington Wildcats, so Sunder Slice 5-0, Wellington Wildcats 4-1, Hot Chili 3-2, Sunder Dice 2-3 in the other pool. So there's our top four from them. So Juggernaut Wildcats, bit of a history between those two clubs. So
big time world clubs, playoff, infamous some would say. Just going to leave it at that.
And so I can see from a long way away that the Fishwick Ellipsis game is wrapped up. But we're talking 200 metres away, so zero chance of me seeing the scoreboard.
I'm surprised you can see that. Yeah, I'm impressed. You would imagine Ellipsis got it done, but Fishwick have been a bit of a surprise package, I think, for a few people this week.
They have been, and that's an 80-minute game. I think Fishwick spent all their tickets earlier today with those two Universe Point wins.
Yep. And
would have been pretty happy with the second place in the pool.
Play the long game here, fellas. Yep.
Manly Mammoth, that's the other interesting result from Sublime's perspective.
Yes, because if Manly don't win, then they'll both be 1 and 4.
Yep.
I think. So then it would come down to points difference. So
Between those 3 teams.
this, that puts another interesting aspect on this game, actually, because you might not win. Big D!
Run that through. Too complacent there from Alexa. Caliviotis picks up, wants to put this one to bed early. Tran, and he's gone too quick. They got too excited.
Big let off for Sublime, because I was just about to say points matter now.
An Eamon shot. He's gone for Diaz, and Diaz has run all the way in. He's caught, then dived. Thought it was worth a shot. Schmidt's there with him, runs ahead. Diaz fires it back to Wadrop, gets it back. Diaz not quite in. How's he not in? Puts a shot across. Alex O'Neill with the goal. And they've got to double figures, and like we were saying, Andrew, every goal does matter because you never know. You'd hate to just walk this game out and then get across and realise it could have mattered.
Yep.
So play every new point as it comes. Make no assumptions. It's one of the worst feelings of a tournament when you lose in a 3-way tie, and then there's that always, oh man, we could have done more.
Yeah,
and another 1 or 2 goals, could have done it.
Well, because the points difference is only 3.
Yep.
So Manly -5 prior to coming into this game.
Yep.
Manly -5, Sublime -8.
Yep. That's if, but you got to do everything you can at a national championship. It happens once a year. Maybe doesn't count here. So Juggernaut offense to consolidate a no hold and close out the game.
And a really interesting, challenge or opportunity, I should say, for Juggernaut, because this hasn't always been their strong suit.
Closing out
kind of closing it.
Yep.
So there's pressure, but they're 14-10 up, but it's still an opportunity, almost like create a bit of pressure. Go, okay, guys, here's our opportunity. We know when it's been 13-14, they haven't been as convincing. Here's your chance. Do it again.
Yeah. Wilson.
Easy as you like.
Savannah Eriksson left unguarded. Bit slow to set up the defense, but now they're locked on to their match.
Nice.
Phillip, good throw to advantage.
Oh, big.
Wilson, Ben Bastian had a snap at that one.
Sublime know that they're playing for the game right now. Yeah.
A lot
that's
forthcoming in terms of under. I think a lot of the cutters are waiting for that power position for the handlers before they make their move. They're not actually establishing much downfield.
Yep.
And that's going to win your points in pool play. You'd want to start having a bit more activity to be winning quarterfinals.
So we'll go back. The travel's been called. So now the players will have to reset where they thought they were. And given it was down the break side, you'd expect a little bit of separation, which has been given, which is good.
Evans with the let-out cut.
Big throw, that one.
Henrikson's got Bocce on his heels. Bocce decides not to go at that one. Doyle. Henrikson's a bit more activity downfield now.
Good mark.
Great marking there by Mackenzie.
Big bid.
Doyle. Calm as you like. Henriksson. This pressure's building. There we go. They had to rush that one, had to force it because there was no other options left, and Bocce's close coverage.
And the Jugger sideline have absolutely lost their bottle.
Mackenzie. Carpenter. Bocce having to do a lot of work. Mackenzie's gone up the line. High store count here. Mackenzie fires it in. Bocce has gone through, and Wilson with the intercept-ish, block-ish kind of motion, but it's gone to ground. Either way, it's Juggernaut's disc. They've got one turn out of the Mandrew. They can get another one.
And we're going to see a call. Just a bit of contact off the front of the stack. This is, I'll put it down to dopey fatigue.
Yeah. Savannah with the disc on the Sublime goal line. 64 to go to goal. Good little game out to Evans. Couple of players losing their feet. Phillips got the step ahead of McKenzie. Hendricks has put the backhand throw. McKenzie's got to go early, but Phillip, he's run that down in the back corner. And Juggernaut closed the game out 15-10.
Backing their offense in the whole way. They had a chance to respond. They needed to. They did. Sublime fighting to the end, even getting a turn in that last point. Having a shot into the end zone that just popped, I think, through Jacko's hands a little bit.
Yeah. I saw Jackson Bocce hit the deck after that. There's a man that could not have given anything more in this game. Could not have asked any more of the Sublime leadership. In terms of effort, in terms of intensity, in terms of heat on everything. Made Juggernaut work for everything, both on O and on D.
Yep. And I think if you ask around the Ultimate community, like, who's your second team?
Yep.
You know, I think a lot of people would say Sublime because they are always thereabouts. They're always having a crack. They play some appealing Ultimate. They have a lot of bids, as you said.
Yep.
So we're not sure what's in store for them. At best, it's 4th. Otherwise, they're off to the 9 to 12.
Yep.
But they had a crack, particularly in that second half when it ramped up.
But geez, they enjoy their Ultimate, and it's good. They've got the first blood for a lot of their Division 2 players from previous years have stepped up into this year. So it's games like this, they're going to light the fire in those young fellas and go, right, this is where I can be. So the story of the game there, 5 breaks to Juggernaut. So 13 turns by Sublime, 9 from Juggernaut, and 8 clean holes each. So, yeah, the offensive line's getting it done, but Juggernaut's D-line, the difference in the end as opposed to Sublime's. Yeah,
and it was really interesting. You look at a lot of those clean holds coming through that second stanza of the first half, if that makes sense, from about kind of threes onwards. That's when things
10 points in a row, just hold after hold after hold.
Yeah, but then I think we saw both teams build their defensive intensity, which generated blocks, both direct blocks and turnovers from pressure. So yeah, I think Sublime. I mean, I hope if they're able to go through. I think they deserve to. I think they were thereabouts. But as you say, they just love their Ultimate, so they're going to be happy to be here and get amongst it.
So that closes us out on day 2 of the Australian Ultimate Championships from 2025, coming to you from West Beach in Adelaide. We're back tomorrow with quarterfinal action in both divisions. We don't know our matchups yet, but keep an eye on ULTI.TV social medias. They'll post up the schedule once it's been worked out with the folks at the Australian Flying Disc Association. We'll be bringing you quarterfinal action from 2 fields, both in our free stream. And if you're watching and hearing our lovely voices now, Andrew, we want to thank you for subscribing, throwing us a little bit of your beer money to keep more live streaming. So thank you for your support.
Well worth it with this quality of game and this quality of production. It's been a pleasure to bring it to you. As you say, now the point end of the tournament starts, and I don't know about you, but I can't wait. It's going to be a cracker.
Thanks to Emma for roaming the sidelines for us, keeping us in check. Thanks to all the crew for a wonderful day today. Catch you tomorrow for more Ultimate.
He's in a great spot. He's in a perfect spot. Yes, his massive head has blocked everything. That was a huge play, but we have seen none of it. Finny, he's done it.
ULTI.TV.